So how did you come up with the idea for eWebinar, and how did you how did you figure out this was the thing that you wanted to commit to? Because there's one thing coming up with ideas, and if you're an entrepreneur, you're coming up with ideas all the time. But then to go
Yeah.
from selling your company to say, within 2 months, I'm now going to commit 100% to this new idea. How did you get to that point of that level of confidence?
I mean, it is so hard, right? Because you can't help yourself but come up with new ideas, right? I think every founder has like 100 domains that they might do one day. And the thing is, like, doing the same webinar over and over again was a problem that I lived with for 5 years when I was doing Spacio. And not only was I delivering, demos and training around the clock, sometimes 7 or 8 of them, the same thing back to back, I was digital nomading at the time. So I was doing them on like opposite time zones of my customers. And it just never made sense to me why a person, let alone the founder of a company, had to be doing that. But it's still important work because we're bootstrapped and every dollar counts. So if you sign a new company and they don't adopt your product, that's not their fault. That's my fault. So I could never get rid of doing that. Like I tried doing like YouTube videos and knowledge bases, but like when it comes to demos and training and stuff, people want to be able to engage and interact. It's just kind of a mindset. So I just thought about this for so long. And throughout those 5 years, I always looked at other products on the market because I just couldn't believe that no one has solved this yet in an elegant way, right? There are like products that are out there, but they're more towards like kind of like marketing, and they were almost like solutions that were created not to deliver amazing webinars. They were created to deceive consumers into making a sale right now. And that's just not a practice that sat well with me. So after I sold Spacio, I had like 10 different ideas. And to your point, it is so hard to commit to something because at that point, I've been in startups for 10 years and there's so much pain, right? You're living with so much pain and you're like, what is the least painful idea and the quickest path to revenue that I can choose right now? And I couldn't really choose. So what I did was I made a list of 10 non-negotiables that I must have in my next business. And I actually, through a process of elimination, picked eWebinar. But it's the problem that I knew the best intimately well. And the thing is, my number one priority is freedom. Like that's why we have a completely remote team. I'm a digital nomad. And the idea that I could create a product to give people back their time, like that was really exciting to me. So this was the one idea that kind of fit the bill. But the thing that tipped me over, like that got me over the edge, was I asked myself, because I've been doing research for 5 years on this stuff. And I asked myself, how would I feel if someone else did this tomorrow in the way that I imagined? And I just thought that would really suck, right? That would really suck to have thought about something for this long, to know this problem this well, and have someone else do it because you weren't fast enough. And when I had that thought was when I incorporated the company.
So how did you get started? You've got the clarity on the idea. You talked about your non-negotiables. What, aside from freedom, what were a couple of other things that were important to you when you set out, by the way?
So in my past, I only sold enterprise software. So that was very like one-on-one. I went to conferences to meet people in real life. So like first quarter, I would just be on a plane every week. So one of my non-negotiables was no more conferences, like no more booths. Like that part of my life is over. And I wanted a product that could sell 100% through the internet. Like if I wanted to talk to someone, that's a different story, but it has to be something that could scale 100% through the internet. And it needed to be something that I felt passionate about because I spent 10 years in real estate software. I wasn't passionate about real estate software. It was just my experience, right? So, and I think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of people start careers or build companies because it's their experience and knowledge and education, not because it's something that actually gives them energy. So because I could do it over again, I could kind of go back to the drawing board and say, what are the things that give me energy and what are the things that make me happy? And then, chose a company, because of that.